We're live with another episode of SciFi Power Hour-ish. Hopefully this will not take an hour. But thank you. And before we get further into it, I'm joined by my co-host. Introduce yourself,
Hello,
sir.
this is Piggy Dog from Video Game Facts. Oof, and right now, oh, feeling a bit, feeling a bit tired out right now because I've been busy doing other things for the rest of today, like helping a student to complete his math test that he'll be taking, as well as playing the Arms Credit Crash event and watching Shark Week, which for some reason is going over a week tomorrow.
I thought Shark Week had been going over a week for years now. Like it's kind of like how they have like Christmas week on TV, but really it like goes longer than that. But that's neither here nor there. This is Mr. Red Fox here, so let's get into it. We have some big news that's come out this week. So, I mean, it is what it is. So basically, we'll be covering. Hello, Jewel. How's it going?
Just dropped in.
Yeah. We thought you weren't going to make it. Introduce yourself.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I'm Joe Eli Moonstar, and welcome to the SciFi Power Hour. Ish.
Yeah. It's around an hour. So here we are, folks. Here we are yet again. And this was a big week. This was a huge week. It was gigantic.
Mecca gigantic.
Yeah, Mecca gigantic. Mostly because, I mean, let's look at it. I mean, Comic-Con happened last week.
And I had some fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was great for a lot of people, but some bombs were dropped. We got to see a trailer for Teen Titans where Robin says "fuck Batman."
And it's becoming a meme right now.
And someone decided it would be a good idea to take Starfire and make her look like a hooker.
All right.
And
I heard that, didn't I?
Yeah. Literally I mean, like, here's the thing, okay? They cast Starfire in the live action Teen Titans as a black woman. I don't really care. I mean, like, it doesn't matter. Because she's not human, so you don't know what she's gonna look like. And apparently her true form is fucking hideous. So her humanoid form doesn't really matter. The problem is that
what the fudge?
The problem is that the outfit that they have her wearing makes her look, instead of like a superhero, like a really colorful hooker. Like she doesn't look like she needs to be fighting supervillains with the Teen Titans. She looks like she needs to be on the corner at like 1:00 in the morning saying 50 a lay, 20 a blow. And not, I will defeat you with my powers. Insert Teen Titan villain.
I was gonna say, I got images now. Thank you very much. Oh,
well,
God.
I mean, listen. I am not in charge of Warner Brothers costume
I know,
department,
but
so I didn't have anything to do with it.
Did that?
Their costume department
we had some weird beeping sense of humor.
Yeah, the Warner Brothers costume department thought it would be cool to make a black woman in a cast into a superhero role, Trailblazer as a hooker. So if anyone needs to get in trouble,
as if I didn't need enough of a problem with movie trouble, with movie tropes.
And now they're trying to make the argument that, well, it's not that we fucked up and made her costume look like a hooker.
It's the people that are complaining about it.
People are being racist against this character. And I'm like,
racist,
yeah,
seriously?
Are you sure you want to? Are you sure you want to try that? Because it works so well with Ghostbusters and
Yeah.
Star Wars
And look how
and
they
Star
are
Trek.
faring.
Which brings us to the first topic. Why is it that so many various
Movies.
well, IPs, not just movies, but IPs, why are they constantly attacking their own fan bases? It's like these are the people who give you their money. Why are you pissing them off?
I think it's because they want to look like they're the people of today.
You know,
So I question that.
According to these people, they're trying to have some kind of SJW propaganda and try to push away the true fans of the IP.
yeah, but that doesn't make. I mean, that. How can I put this? I don't think that's the reason they do it. I think that is a convenient excuse that people are using, but I don't think that's the reason. I'll give an example, right? Like you look at Star Wars, right? Star Wars, people will accuse Kathleen Kennedy and the people that's working that are working under her and LucasArts, like, well, this is social justice warrior stuff. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that Kathleen Kennedy is saying, okay, we need to grow this franchise. How can we grow this franchise? We go for more casual people. The problem is that the money in Star Wars was never in the films. It was in the merchandising. And casual fans aren't going to be buying the merchandise. Casual fans will watch the movie. The hardcore fans, the people that they're pissing off, are the ones who buy the model kits, the action figures, the video games.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's even a card game coming out soon.
The card game, the toys, right?
Or the board games.
The board games, the RPGs. Those are the people that they're pissing off. See, literally, like, because the movies pay for themselves and they make a little bit of profit. But the real money is in the merchandising. The money's always been in the merchandising. To quote Mel Brooks in Spaceballs, the most powerful force in the galaxy, the Schwartz? No, merchandising. So the real power of Star Wars has always been merchandising.
I thought the quote would be 80% of what you gain is from 20% of your audience.
Yes, 80% of the revenue generated by a product is given to you by 20% of your audience. So basically, like you're pissing off your core audience. The people who who make you the vast majority of your money, you're pissing off, which is just dumb. And it's like, I mean, haven't you noticed? Like, here's what people need to understand: Star Wars. Yeah, the movies have been making money, not as much as they should, but they have been making money. But you know, the merchandise hasn't been doing shit. That Star Wars video game they made, that Lego Star Wars video game they made, that was based on episodes 7. That did not sell nearly as much as it should have. First of all, why would you make a Lego Star Wars game based on one movie? I don't understand that, because there's not enough material for it to really be worth your while.
Go with the trilogies, please.
Yeah, like that's something you should have waited until the whole trilogy came out and then made a game about that. That was mistake number one.
They could have just go with another IP to pat out.
Yeah, like they could have done like a single player game. Like it would have been cool if they had made like, okay, like kind of like in the vein of Rogue One. This is a game about basically the rebellion in the early years when they're just like, so it's like an espionage action adventure game, single player. That could have worked. And yet they didn't do that because they gave the license to EA, and you know, EA is evil. So you can't spell evil assholes without using the letters E and A.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. But so basically, so they attack their fan base. But here's the thing: the hardcore people who account for all of your extra money, they aren't buying the shit. Like if Toys R Us when it was around, I'm pretty sure. Like, I think there's a picture you can see of the Toys R Us's that were having their going out of business sales, where there are piles of Ray dolls that no one bought when they came out that are still in the factories. No one wants this shit. No one gives a shit about Ray. Not the hardcore fans. They don't. You know, a very few people bought the new model of the Millennium Falcon. You know. You know, if you look at Star Trek, the same thing's going on. No one wants models of the new Star Trek ships. No one cares. No one likes these things. You know.
But yet we have NECA releasing figures of the bad Alien movies like Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Those will still sell. Because even though those movies are bad, I'll be honest with you. Alien Resurrection, not a good movie. It's still much more enjoyable to watch than Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
I almost thought you would say Prometheus and Bob.
Yeah, well, that was good too. But yeah, I mean, I would rather watch Alien Resurrection on a loop than watch Alien Covenant or Alien than Prometheus ever again, because those movies are terrible. They're ass. Because I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret about Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott his movies are good in spite of himself, not because of himself. Like you listen to Ridley Scott and like ideas that he had for movies, and it's like, man, it's good you didn't go with that idea, because that would have made that movie a lot worse. You know. like it begins with Blade Runner. He's like, you know what? I wanted to make Deckard into a replicant. Doesn't that negate the entire idea behind Blade Runner, though?
And instead, they made his identity as a human or replicant ambiguous.
No, he's not supposed to be a replicant. The whole point of Blade Runner is that the replicants are more alive than the humans.
As in, the machine is more human than the humans themselves.
Exactly. That's the entire point. The entire point of Blade Runner is that human beings have become so jaded with their existence that
they're becoming more robotic.
And yet the replicants, with their zest for life, literally, the whole point of Blade Runner is that you have replicants that are like, I want more life. I have seen so many amazing things. I want to see more. They have a zest for life. It's the whole point. He's like, that's completely negated if you make Deckard into a replicant. I mean, you basically destroyed your entire film. Like that's Ridley Scott. His entire filmography are films that people like from him. But if you listen to his ideas that he wanted to put in, but someone higher up said, that's a stupid idea, don't do that. That saves the film. It's like, if you give Ridley Scott all the creative power, he fucks up. Okay? That's what I'm saying. And that's why you have you have Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Because when you basically let him do whatever he wants, he fucks it up.
And for what I heard from the history of the Aliens production, Prometheus was supposed to be the Alien 2 we were supposed to get before they switched to James Cameron's idea for the sequel.
And yet James Cameron made a better sequel. I'm sorry. Aliens expanded the universe without fucking up the continuity. Right? And then, then they made whatever the fuck it was, like Alien. Okay, because here's the thing about the first Alien movie. The first Alien movie is just a horror movie in space on a ship, right? That's right. What it is. You could literally take the xenomorph in Alien and replace it with any other B alien sci-fi movie monster, and it's still a horror movie. Like it's not. There's nothing really special about it. James Cameron took that source material and pushed it further. Like he gave us the Queen. He gave us the fact that the aliens are way smarter than you might remember, and how they he showed us that when they capture people, they cocoon them in front of their eggs so that they can have a host and they can be face raped by a face hugger and then give birth to another xenomorph. I mean, like all of these things, which are horrific when you really think about it, which expanded the mythos. we wouldn't have had that with Ridley Scott. We would have had Prometheus, which, I mean, is kind of a shitty movie. I mean, it's beautifully shot, but it's a shitty movie. It is a shitty movie, and Covenant is just as bad in the opposite direction. So, I mean, you can't attack your fan base. I mean, Ghostbusters did the same thing. Ghostbusters 2016. You're just if you don't like this movie, you're a misogynist.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, and here's the ironic part. Now the feminists are angry at the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot because they're gonna cast Buffy as a black woman.
Black woman.
Well, that's not entirely true. There's some women who it doesn't really. Anita Sarkeesian is mad about it.
Oh God! Don't mention that.
Exactly what I'm referring to.
Yeah, Anita, but I mean, you can't use one person as a blanket catch-all for an entire group of people because they're women.
Because that kind of person is representing the worst of the gender.
Well, first of all, Anita,
I hate her.
Yeah, Anita Sarkeesian isn't a feminist. First of all,
she's an opportunistic beep.
Yeah, but she's not a feminist. Yeah, she's well, she's not a feminist. I mean, let's just keep that right there. She's not a feminist.
I need a moment.
Yeah. So, I mean, like basically what I'm saying is this. You can't antagonize your audience, right? Because it gains you nothing. Like, I mean, because basically, now to be fair, were there people who were like, we can't have women be Ghostbusters? Yeah, I've seen the tweets. There were people who did that in subreddits and stuff like that. And people like that mess up the argument because they become a convenient scapegoat, right? Like, I mean, because let's keep it real. Ghostbusters 2016 was not a good movie, okay?
That's putting it lightly.
The jokes were juvenile. Now, to be fair, the original two Ghostbusters had juvenile jokes.
This one's had less inspiringly funny jokes.
Yeah, I mean, you basically had a lot of ad-lib stuff. Like the reason the original two Ghostbuster films work is because they are they're essentially comedy horror movies, right?
Right.
There is absolutely nothing scary in the Ghostbuster reboot. It's just a lot of really like literally, it feels like a Scooby-Doo movie.
Minus the mysteries.
I think that would be better. If the Ghostbuster 2016, if you really want to bring back Ghostbusters, here's what you do. Do a crossover with Ghostbusters and Scooby-Doo. That'll...
Well, there were plans for Ghostbusters to cross over with Men in Black since Sony owns both IPs.
Yeah, but it's Sony, and Sony fucks shit up all the time. Like Sony, the only reason Spider-Man is a viable IP right now is because Marvel stepped in and said, "Look, you're fucking this up. Let me take the wheel and drive this shit." And now they're threatening to run it into a ditch again with this Venom and Black Cat shit. So,
but I want to see a movie involving aliens versus ghosts, two paranormal beings.
Well, no, not really. Ghosts are paranormal. Aliens are just from another. Exist in our universe, but they're just not of our world. They're extrastellar, but not like paranormal. But I mean, it's just I think a Scooby-Doo crossover would probably be better, just because it would be really interesting for the Ghostbusters to meet the Ghostbusters who know that ghosts exist to meet a group of people who think ghosts are fake because it's always some guy with a mask, and for there to be, yeah, it's just, and he rips off the head, but it's a real head because it's a ghost and not, old man McFeeny.
It's funny that they did that in earlier episodes.
Now that would be friggin' awesome. That would be a total worthwhile. And so then you basically have the Ghostbusters having to help out the mystery incorporated. But it turns out there's a mystery going on where there was a murder like 40 years ago. So like the Scooby-Doo crew can use their skills to find out what happened to this guy who was murdered, or a woman, I don't know. And then the Ghostbusters have to catch the ghost. It would be a nice little movie. I don't know who you would cast. I would not go with the 2016 Ghostbusters because that ship smashed into an iceberg and sunk.
They could have Shaggy and Scooby befriend Slimer.
Yeah, they, in an eating contest, because that's all Shaggy and Scooby do is eat. You know, yeah. That's how they bond, is over eating. Like Slimer's like, no, these guys are good. They can eat like I can. They're awesome. I like them. Scrappy Dappy Doo, except fuck Scrappy Doo. But anyway, I don't like Scrappy Doo. I don't. I never liked him. I think he was an unnecessary addition.
A detriment to this franchise.
But he saved it for it to last long enough to at least make it to the movies.
Yeah, and he was the worst part of that movie. Like, I mean, I'm just sorry. Scrappy Doo was just, nah. But
they used him wrong.
That whole movie was just really bad. But not like okay. Ironically, the Scooby-Doo movie is really good to watch if you're high. Don't ask me how I know this.
We won't ask.
But yeah, it's really good. It's not good to watch, you know, as just a movie. But if you've had a little bit,
I consider it popcorn filler, so it'd be nice.
Yeah. Except the jokes are a little too lowbrow, but what the heck. But anyway, so I mean, anything else you guys want to add before we move on to the next topic about people attacking their own fan base and how that blows back on them?
We could talk.
We could go into this for a while.
What about fan bases attacking other fan bases, like the classic Star Wars versus Star Trek?
Yeah, but how much of that is legitimate, like ire, or just how much of that is legitimate people attacking each other, or is it just like ribbing? Because here's the thing, I have been to Trek conventions where Star Wars people were there, and we like that. I think that's just bullshit that people made up. Because I've never seen it. I've never seen a Star Wars fan been like, our shit's better than your shit. They're both, look, both of the shit is both IPs are fun and interesting. Both of which are in a rough patch right now because you have people running it who don't really give a shit about the canonical material. But I mean, they both have some pretty good stuff in the past. They've had their ups and downs. I mean, you know, there's more similarities between the two than differences. Star Trek is older, so if you want to go with that, I mean, but
that's a small edge.
I mean, Star Trek came out in '66. Star Wars came out in '77. So it's like 11 years older. So.
Or we could go to the example from that one episode of Family Guy where they have the Star Wars fan base pitted against the Lord of the Rings fan base.
Well, that's a real twist, because how can you compare science fiction to fantasy?
Yeah, I mean, none of them. They're completely two different genres.
Yeah, but I mean, legitimately, I'm just gonna say this right now. But here's the thing: most of the people who are Lord of the Rings fans, they're not fans of the books. They're fans of those shitty movies. That's what they like. You ask them, it's like, well, how'd you like the book? I didn't read the book. Then shut the fuck up. Because the movies add a lot of stuff. Here's the thing. If you read the Lord of the Rings books, they aren't as good as people might have you believe. Like Peter Jackson had to create a lot of shit in order to make those movies enjoyable for people. Because if you read Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, oh God, J.R.R. Tolkien's not a very good writer. He just really isn't. He's, oh God. Hail to the no. And for those of you who disagree, you can come at me, bro.
Well, at least you'll be happy that there won't be a Lord of the Rings land segment for any theme parks.
I don't really care because I mean, like I said, I have never given less of a shit. Like I did not go to the movie theaters to see any of the Lord of the Rings films or the Hobbit films. Like I had to read Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit in high school and the Silmarillion because we had, you know, in high school you have the reading book list.
Yeah, my school system has that too. We call it accelerated reader.
I had to read that shit, and I read all the Tolkien books, and I hate J.R.R. Tolkien. I hate his books. I don't know why this man is considered the father of modern fantasy because his books suck. I'm sorry, they suck. Okay, J.R.R. Tolkien is one of the most overrated writers of the English literature ever. His books are the best book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy is the Two Towers. And the only reason that's good is because you have one of the most ironic action sequences ever. When the Ents attack Saruman's tower, you literally have the forest fighting back. And that is just awesome. But aside from that, it's just not very good.
So which book series would you consider to be the father of modern fantasy then?
There isn't any. Modern fantasy's roots is in folklore and fairy tales, and folklore and fairy tales have been around for like hundreds, if not thousands of years. Like basically, if you have to go with, I mean Greek mythology, like the hero mythos, god mythos, creator myths, like all that shit is the foundation of modern fairy tales. So I don't give that credit to J.R.R. Tolkien. But if I had to say, I mean, like we know that one of the fathers of science fiction is H.G. Wells and
Jules Verne. So, but with fantasy, it's a little bit because fantasy has been around so long, right? Like if you read Norse mythology, the Poetic Eddas, that's basically fantasy. If you read the Iliad and the Odyssey and the Aeneid, that's all basically myths and legends and heroes and heroic deeds. It's fantasy. The Epic of Charlemagne. Even, I mean, if you go Eastern literature, Journey to the West, that's basically fantasy. So, I mean, to give it to J.R.R. Tolkien for a shitty writing where he's more descriptive about what the people are eating than battles and how magic works.
There's a problem.
Yeah, J.R.R. Tolkien's overrated. I'm sorry. He's just his book series is just kind of garbage.
Okay, I think we can move on to the next topic.
Yes. The next topic is with Disney. I wrote this before the thing went through. Okay, so forgive me. With Disney inching closer to their partial acquisition of Fox, what will they do with the non-Marvel movie properties? Alien, Predator, AVP, etc. And we could add Marvel in there now because I mean it's gone through. What are we gonna do?
Let's see. There are two things they could do. Either just not do anything with it other than use their films for their online streaming service for their adult viewers, or sell them to other companies.
Well, they're not going to do that, but they're not going to sell. Not after they spent all this money to acquire the shit. They're not going to sell off.
They can't sell all that off.
They're not going to sell off those movie rights.
I mean, are you sure?
They just spent. They're spending $71.3 billion to get the stuff. Why would they sell off the movie rights after they bought it? That's weird.
Probably because they're not as child friendly as the MCU.
Yeah, but Disney also has the Miramax. Disney also has Miramax under them, and like that part of Disney released. I mean, hell, back in the day, they released Pulp Fiction, which is rated R.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I mean, you know, like, yeah, Marvel is very child friendly, but you also have to remember Marvel also is in charge. Marvel's has a division that's in charge of the Netflix shows, and those are definitely not
Kid friendly.
kid friendly, especially not the Punisher.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that as well.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
damn.
they'll keep the Alien and Predator franchises for. And I'm just saying that because I'm a bit concerned at how they're going to use them for their theme parks. Because I know that because I know in the history of Disney theme parks, one of their former CEOs wanted to have an attraction based on Ridley Scott's Alien, but the higher ups at Disney did not approve of the idea.
Probably because they couldn't buy it. How can I put this? Here's what I think is going to happen. I think with Alien versus Predator, Aliens, Predator, I think that those films, they're probably going to send someone in to take a look and actually reboot those things. Like they're going to give the new Predator movie that's coming out next month a chance. If it does well, they'll keep it going. You know, they'll spin it out. I think you'll see more Predator and Alien versus Predator and Alien crossovers with Marvel Comics. You might even see some books where you have them crossover, like they did back in the day with like Batman versus Predator and stuff like that. Which would be cool with me. I mean, I really want to see Predator come back. Alien, I want Ridley Scott as far the fuck away from that franchise as humanly possible because he's fucked it up with 2 movies. And frankly speaking, I don't think he can fix it with a 3rd one.
How the heck are you supposed to fix something that terribly broken?
Well, speaking of broken franchises, let's go ask Warner Brothers. I'm joking. I had to throw that dig in about their cinematic universe that didn't take off the way they wanted it to. Basically, I mean, like I said, I think Predator is going to be given a fair shot. I think that they will probably reboot Alien. I think they're going to take it away from Ridley Scott and just reboot it. Because frankly speaking, like I said, Prometheus was not very good and Alien Covenant was not good either. And what they're probably going to do is bring someone in to fix the fuck up that was Ridley Scott's 2 Alien films. They could do it easily. I mean, I'm not going to pitch a movie or anything, but maybe in the first like 10, 15 minutes, like David goes to some planet. It turns out to be the home planet of the aliens. You find out that black goo is actually just derivative that came from this planet that's like even older than the engineers. Turns out the xenomorphs have been around a long time. And they meet David and they fucking kill his ass because they're like, fuck this guy and his little manufactured aliens. Enough said. You just fixed the entire thing. You fixed the entire goddamn timeline. And then you go on with the rest of the film. That could easily fix the Alien film. What's his name's gonna have to die, but I didn't like his character anyway. But Predator, like I said, they're probably gonna give it a chance. AVP, I would love to see a good AVP movie, but it's gonna have to be rated R. Please, for the love of God, do not make another AVP film that's rated PG-13. Okay, you have 2 IPs.
They did with the sequel, and it was terrible.
Yeah, but the reason the sequel failed was because the guys in charge of it didn't understand the source material, and they had messed up so much other shit. Like I said, like with Alien versus Predator, it has to start off strong. It started off okay, and the second film was worse. Yeah. But you know, because the thing is that these 2 IPs are like, if the main franchises aren't doing well, then the side stories aren't going to do well either.
It's short. The front has to be well in order for the back to be doing good.
Exactly. As far as X-Men go, please God, let those 2 pieces of shit Dark Phoenix and New Mutants get canceled or put away or hidden under a desk. I don't know what you got to do, but let it go. Look, Fox has not had a good record with the X-Men films. Okay.
I just remembered something. What if they make a Xenomorph and Venom crossover?
That would be interesting. I mean, it'd have to go through Sony since they hold the license, the movie rights with for Venom.
I mean, a crossover comic with Venom and the Alien franchise.
That'd be creepy because you have the Xenomorph, which basically, in order for it to reproduce, essentially steals. It takes the DNA of what it's parasitized through the facehugger in order to it takes on secondary characteristics of what it's parasitized. So like if a facehugger parasitized a human, you get a more human-like xenomorph. If it parasitized a dog or an ox, it becomes more animal-like, walks on all fours all the time. It would be cool to see what would happen if a xenomorph parasitized
a symbiote.
Well, someone who had. Well, I mean, like, what would happen? Like, would the symbiote basically basically keep the symbiote from hatching? Would the symbiote keep the xenomorph from hatching? Like, because it doesn't want the host to die? Would it fuse with the xenomorph? Like, I don't know. It'd be a very interesting comic. I mean, like, I don't really like Venom because Venom only works when he's paired with Spider-Man. It doesn't work when he's by himself. So
it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird to see Venom by himself. It's like it just doesn't work.
I mean, he needs a foe in order to function with this. And
like I said, Venom is only interesting when he's like in opposition to Spider-Man, or when he's like kind of like working in tandem with Spider-Man, like how he just fucks with Spider-Man. It's just total dick. It's an interesting dichotomy. When he's by himself, it's like, whatever.
He's just an alien of sorts.
Yeah. But you know, it is what it is. Let's see. I mean, look at the bright side. We finally can get the Fantastic Four movie we deserve. Hopefully. Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer, and Galactus. Could you imagine Galactus done right?
And Doctor Doom done right.
Doctor Doom done right. Oh my God, it'd be fucking awesome.
We'll even get the Skrulls as well.
Yeah, and the Skrulls, the Super Skrulls, whatever. I mean, my point is this: thank God. We got at least like 2/3 of the family under one roof. Done right. So anything else you guys want to say about the Disney Fox acquisition?
Nothing much.
Okay. What do you want for the next Gojira film? American and
Toho produced.
Yeah.
Let's see. I do want to see more standalone films of Rodan and Mothra since it's been a long time.
Matsuda. Yeah. Matsuda. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, basically, aside from the 4 films she had in the 90s, like that's it. Like she really hasn't really been in anything else. And Rodan, except for that 66 film, that's the only solo film he had.
Yeah.
Rodan or Radon, depending on which translation you get.
So, and I'm also hearing rumors that King Ghidorah will get his own solo film.
I'd be cool with that. I mean, if it's done by Toho, I don't want to see the American King Ghidorah because it just looks weird. It doesn't look quite right.
That the American version of King Ghidorah will get his own solo film.
Oh, well, whatever. I would say, here's the thing. It's kind of weird that like they go from the first American Godzilla film, which came out in 2014, and they jump from there to like immediately over to not Destroy All Monsters, but like Godzilla versus Monster X. Like, why is he go to immediately to Monster X? I don't understand that.
I'm pretty sure it won't be Monster X because it doesn't involve aliens.
Well, I mean, who's to say that Ghidorah didn't come to Earth from an extrastellar source?
Because it'll ruin the grounded realism that the legendary
What fucking grounded realism? They're giant monsters fighting each other. There's no grounded realism.
Well, grounded realism, like no aliens or deities, just normal, just normal Earth monsters.
Let me put it this way: how much do you want to bet that that the reason that they're gonna say in this next Godzilla film that the reason that the dinosaurs went extinct and the climate changed was because Ghidorah came to Earth and rampaged, and basically it took all three monsters, Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra. They did the best they could, and the only thing they could do is put that motherfucker to sleep. How much you want to bet that? Because you can't, because Ghidorah is not an Earth-based monster. It's too alien physiology to be an Earth-based monster. But you know, this comes as a Godzilla fan of the Toho original, so who knows? Maybe they'll change that too. Japan, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Whatever it is, I hope that it's a better. I hope it's a better movie than what we got with Shin Godzilla, and it has a Godzilla that looks like he's supposed to look, and not like a fish. I was not cool with that million-yard stare that looks like a fish.
It was that design was supposed to look creepy because it was supposed to go back to the roots of Godzilla being a scary menace from the 1940s.
Yeah, I gotta disagree. Because Godzilla was originally like they based his looks on a dog, specifically a puppy, with more reptilian features. So while Godzilla is terrifying, you're also supposed to be like it's supposed to look like he's in pain, because he is, because basically he was woken up with nuclear radiation. His body's covered with sores and like he's pissed off because he's been bombed. I mean, he's not in good shape. He's supposed to be in pain. That's why he's rampaging. This Godzilla just looks like literally, it looks like a fish that's just sitting there in a fish tank with that 1,000-yard stare. It doesn't even look terrifying. It's just weird. I mean, but this is what you get when you get the Evangelion guy, because like I said, he's another overrated asshole. In my opinion. I could be wrong. You know, I'm just a.
So people take his word seriously, such as his remarks that the anime bubble will burst 5 years from now.
It could not. I don't know. I mean, like, he hasn't really done anything except, like, he's only known for Evangelion.
Well, he just recently confirmed that even the fourth and final Evangelion movie will be coming out from 2020.
And if I cared, because it seems all he's done is Evangelion. Even the old man Akira Toriyama has done other shit besides Dragon Ball. Like, I mean, how good of an artist can you be when you only do one thing that's successful? I mean, Akira, like I said,
difficult thing.
Akira Toriyama did Dr. Slump. He did Sandland. He did Dragon Ball Z.
He was also the illustrator for the Dragon Quest series.
Well, I'm just going with his own merits as an illustrator and character design and story writer and stuff like that. Like, I mean, that's four things that he had that, I mean, all were varying degrees of successful. And then he got the Evangelion guy, and he's just, I'm Evangelion, that's it. I mean, you can't do anything else, it's Evangelion. Yeah, then shut the fuck up. That's what you can do. but that's just me. I'm not a huge Evangelion fan, so I may be colored a bit with my bias. So anything you want from a Japanese Godzilla or American Jewel?
I'm not a Godzilla fan per se, so I'm kind of iffy with that. But for me, I would like to at least see if the cringe could be kept down.
Cringe.
You mean
Okay.
the corny English voice acting from the old movies?
Yeah, but that's the fun part.
Not that, but
Oh no, it's Gojira! Oh, run! It's like,
that's
how are you gonna run from a
cheese,
giant
not cringe.
monster? Oh, you mean like Godzilla picking up Hedorah and using his fire breath to fly away? Or Jaguar.
Something like that which is really off of left field, like trying to explain some weird stuff about Godzilla when it's obvious it's unexplainable.
Or Jaguar reprogramming himself so that he can fight Megalon.
Yeah.
with his theme song, Jet Jagga. I'm sorry. 70s Godzilla. I mean, people say that they don't do drugs in Japan.
I have to say,
but
there's some weird stuff that's in Japan that makes you wonder, is that importable?
Yeah, people say they don't do drugs in Japan. And for people who say they don't do drugs in Japan, go watch Godzilla versus Megalon and Godzilla versus Hedorah. Look, you have to be on something to come up with shit like that. Okay? And it's not
the soft stuff either.
Yeah, it's not just air, cigarettes, and alcohol, okay?
What I've been told, Godzilla vs. Megalon was originally supposed to be the cash in on the Ultraman's popularity. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, Jaguar is supposed to be their version of Ultraman, but he's kind of like shitty. He's shitty. But they came out with Godzilla's Revenge to cash in on the popularity of then at the time Gamera, because Gamera was the friend to the children. So they made, but Godzilla could never be the friend to kids because that's just not Godzilla's thing. So they made Minya the friend to kids because Minya's more harmless looking. Which, like, here's the thing: Minya looks really stupid, but like the thing that I like about old school Godzilla through 3 eras, well, no, even Millennium, that Shin Godzilla lacks is that Godzilla had heart. Like even when he was the villain, Godzilla had heart. Shin Godzilla had no heart whatsoever. Like there was no like motivation as to why Godzilla was doing what it was doing. Just because.
But the film did have motivation. It was supposed to be a response to the tsunami.
No, I understand that. I'm saying that it was Shin Godzilla was a fine and dandy disaster film. Godzilla film, not very good. But I mean, as a disaster film, it was nice. I mean, to tell you the truth, it's sad when the best part of a Godzilla film is like the character interactions. Like the character interactions are really good in Shin Godzilla. But I don't watch a Godzilla movie for the character interactions. I don't care about the humans. Like when I watch a Godzilla film, I want to see Godzilla fuck shit up.
Speaking of films speaking of Godzilla films with no heart, apparently the second Godzilla anime movie is said to be just as bad as
the first one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. Because look, I'm going to tell you when I knew the Godzilla animated movies were going to suck. When the first things that people talk, this is going to be the biggest Godzilla ever. I'm like, why? Like, I mean, because the thing is, like, you can animate this. You can make Godzilla into the most dynamically moving Godzilla ever, doing insane fighting abilities and shit like that. Why are you making a gigantic Godzilla? Well, because it's impressive. I'm like, not animated isn't, but you know, and then I watched it and I saw they had the most whiny ass protagonist I've ever seen. Like basically, if you want to take typical anime tropes and put them in a Godzilla anime, that was that anime. Whiny, annoying main character that you really wish would just die at the end of the movie because he's such a bitch. like this dude made everything worse by his own actions. Like he literally made everything worse. The worst protagonist ever. He was worse than Cloud Strife in Final Fantasy VII. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to a lighter topic. The fun topic. We have this is a two-parter. So who would win in a fight, James Bond or Ethan Hunt?
Ethan.
Why?
He doesn't need backup as much.
Really? Because really, his whole thing is built around his team helping him out. That's the whole point of Mission Impossible, of Impossible Mission Force, is that he's got his team. But I mean, if that's your argument,
I mean, as in he needs less. I was thinking that he needs less people to give him assistance as far as tools and weapons before going into fights.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. But James Bond, well, he gets pretty much some good stuff, and he usually gets the right gadget for the job.
Okay.
His gadgets are a lot more
Fictional.
Fantasy based than what Ethan has. Since Mission Impossible is supposed to be more grounded than the James Bond franchise.
Look, it's not about which is more grounded. Which one would win in a fight, James Bond or Ethan Hunt?
And that's what I'm saying, that James Bond would win in a fight, because since the series he's from is a lot more unrealistic than the Mission Impossible series.
Okay, all right. So basically, it would come down to his better gadgets.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll give my answer. I'm gonna go with James Bond, but not for the gadgets. I would go with James Bond because Ethan Hunt has basically been active. I mean, if we're going by, what's his name, Tom Cruise, like Mission Impossible came out in '96. It's now 2018, so you're looking at
20 plus years.
No. 96, 2006, that's 10, 2016, 20, 22 years. That's a pretty good run. But James Bond has been around, has been doing shit since the 60s. So if you basically consider that, like, James Bond has been on way more missions. Just even if you say, okay, well, Ethan Hunt goes on Impossible Mission Force missions between those movies. But James Bond's been doing the shit for like 60, 70 years. And he's got way more experience. Plus, he's cooler.
And gets all the ladies.
Yeah. And I think he has cooler theme music. I mean, I like the Mission Impossible music. Dun, 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 dun. But James Bond, not only is his theme cool, but almost all of his movies have cool opening themes.
Like Live and Let Die.
Well, I mean, even the bad James Bond movies have good themes. Like Die Another Day. Like the whole opening sequence of that movie is James Bond getting the shit tortured out of him in North Korea. But it's set over with one of the most badass Madonna songs I've ever heard, which is Die Another Day. I'm like, damn, that's a pretty good song to get tortured to. Throw him in that scorpion tank again. But my point is this. James Bond, hands down, because he's got more experience than Ethan Hunt, who, and plus James Bond's taller than Ethan Hunt, so he's got a better reach advantage. So yeah, he'd probably kick his ass. And then take his girlfriend. Because it'd be like at the funeral, like Ethan Hunt would be dead, and James Bond would come in. It's like, I heard he was a good man. Who are you? Oh, my name's Bond, James Bond. Let's go to the open bar.
Oh,
Well, what are you having? I'll have a bourbon neat. Yes, I'll have a martini, stirred, not shaken. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I have to go with James Bond just because he's just so much. He's got so much more experience than Ethan Hunt does. Now, if it was Jim Phelps from the original Mission Impossible, yeah, a little bit of a closer fight. But Ethan Hunt, 22 years is cool, but James Bond,
EXP.
yeah, James Bond amalgamated like 60, 70 years. You can't beat that. So our next fun topic. Okay, who would win in a fight, Godzilla or the Power Rangers?
Godzilla. Obviously.
And when I say Power Rangers, I mean they're Zord. They're Zord, because obviously the Power Rangers by themselves with their little mega weapon against Godzilla is not even a fight.
The answer will still be Godzilla because
I'm trying not to laugh because did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Because not even the Megazord combined is strong enough to defeat Godzilla.
Oh, okay. So that's your argument, Jewel?
I'm trying not to laugh.
Okay.
But seriously, it depends on the version of Power Rangers, but I say most of them would lose to Godzilla.
All right. I'm also gonna say Godzilla, just because Power Rangers, like even their most powerful Zords, are impressive.
As I said, it depends on the version of Power Rangers because there's so many. But I say most of them would lose to Godzilla.
Maybe Time Force would have a chance if they went back in time and prevented Godzilla from mutating in the first place. Maybe, but that shit didn't work in Godzilla versus Ghidorah. So we don't even. It's inevitable that Godzilla will.
As I said, it depends on the version.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna say Godzilla as well, just because Godzilla fought Mechagodzilla, and Mechagodzilla is, on paper, Mechagodzilla is more powerful than Godzilla, and Godzilla kicked its ass. So, and Mechagodzilla was vicious. Like, it had flechette missiles that burrowed into his skin, then exploded, causing him to gush like gallons and gallons of blood. And that was badass as fuck. And yet he still defeated that. So I don't think the Power Rangers would stand a chance. Even if you went with old school Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they'd probably get their ass kicked.
Not even anime Mechagodzilla, which is supposed to be about the same size as that Godzilla, was strong enough to kill it.
Nah, man, we're not include the anime Mechagodzilla, because I mean, like, here's the thing. You would think an animated Godzilla would be awesome, and yet they managed to fuck that up. But that's neither here nor there. Any other topics you guys want to bring up before we wrap things up? We're almost to the end, so it'll have to be a quick one. Sorry, but
let's see.
I would ask if you guys got any news about what's coming to theaters.
Well, this week is Mission Impossible Fallout.
Other than that, there's really not that many interesting films coming out this week.
Yeah, it's got Henry Cavill's mustache that brought down a movie in it.
Maybe next time.
That awesome mustache that just basically destroyed Justice League. I don't know.
The director of Kong Skull Island is interested in making both a Metroid movie and a Zelda movie.
I mean, more power to him. Like, here's the thing. Like, everyone keeps on saying, I want to make this into a movie. I don't think Metroid would work as a movie, because at the end of the day, it would just basically be Alien. Except with a more badass version of Ellen Ripley. If I had my druthers, I would do...
And a xenomorph with wings.
Yeah, and well, no, because the xenomorph in Metroid are the species.
I was thinking more about Ridley because he looked like a xenomorph with wings.
Yeah. He looks kind of xenomorphic, but he's more of a pterodactyl. He's more like a humanoid space pterodactyl. apparently. But no, I mean basically the alien in everything's been swapped out with its lesser component. Yeah, like the species forgot its name is the xenomorph. Mother Brain is the evil supercomputer that's just fucking shit up. And the space pirates are just cannon fodder. But I would do if I had my druthers, instead of doing a movie, I would do a TV show, because that way you could look at different aspects of the Metroid universe from different viewpoints. Like maybe you could do it from the viewpoint of an informant, a criminal informant. Maybe a viewpoint from a guy who just retired from the Federation Marine Corps, and did their 10 years, they're out, and now they're becoming a bounty hunter and like going through the ropes. And then maybe like a 10 episode series occasionally have Samus pop up, who's an established character. Like everyone knows she's not to be fucked with. She's a dangerous bounty hunter. Like, to move major things along. But I wouldn't make it about Samus, because the thing is that Samus works when she's not talking, as we learned from Other M.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we all learned from Other M. So I would not do like, if I did if Legend of Zelda was a TV show, I would not do it from the viewpoint of Link or Ganon or Zelda. I would have it
Villager?
Well, someone else. I would have it be done from someone else's point of view. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe a soldier who's sent on an important quest or something like that. Like I wouldn't, because the thing is that Link doesn't talk. I know he's supposed to talk, but like people identify him as someone who doesn't talk. And
not the excuse me princess.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you give him a voice, it's gonna fuck up the mentality that people have of him. So don't give him a voice. And Princess Zelda's just annoying, so I don't want. She's kind of annoying. But yeah, that's it. So anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up? Anything. Pimp it out before we wrap things up.
No, because some of these news will be saved for the BS Busters tomorrow.
All right, Joel.
I'm good.
Okay then. So stay tuned tomorrow for the BS Busters from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, where we'll be talking about the video game news of the week and some other things. I have finally almost beaten Octopath Traveler, so I will be giving my well, I mean, yeah, basically my review and things that I hope they do for the sequel. But I'm just gonna give you a taste. This game, like people,
it's something that Square Enix should have picked up on years ago.
Well, I was gonna say, that and the fact that that guy who was like, yeah, this game, Jason Schreier, who's like, yeah, this game can be beaten in 36 hours. Bullshit.
I was gonna say, 36 hours for a game this thick. Is he kidding?
That's bullshit. This game, in order for you to 100% it and do everything, is going to take you maybe 80.
You're seeing 90 hours with stuff like this.
And that's not if you're trying to 100% every character, get them to level 99. I mean, just because right now I'm almost 70 hours in. I'm 69 and a few minutes in, and my highest level character is level 75. So I mean, that's some bullshit if someone's like, yeah, well, this game is so blah blah blah, whatever. It's not 36 hours. I don't know what he was doing, but it's not 36 hours. But that's the end of the video of the podcast. Thank you. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. Go to Video Game Facts. It's a great site on the Discus. Peace.
And hype responsibly.